¿Cómo está? Today I'm going to do a little video here and try to give my little bit of my story theme here and try to get to know some people here that I haven't. Hopefully some of the people that followed me on Bodtec will come over to this channel, not paid like I said last time, but a new channel here, and we can get things going. So I'll do an introduction to myself and give you a little idea where I come from and what we hope to do. And I don't have anything written down, so it's kind of off the cuff here. But anyway, I was born and raised in Marinette, Wisconsin, and I've been here for nearly 56 years now. So I have gone through a lot of things. What mainly got me involved in holistic health is because since I was a young child, I've had congenital heart disease and hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. My sister died very young from it. Cousins died. Aunts died. My aunt and mom have had transplants. So out of about 9 people that in my lifetime that have had the congenital heart disease, I'm the last one with their own heart. So as you can guess, not post-traumatic stress, but continuous traumatic stress disorder going all through my life. I've dealt with that among many other things along with the heart disease for some 40 years, 50 years. I guess it really started probably when I was about 10, when I lost my sister, and she was 14 when she passed. And again, cousins at 19, aunt at 19, cousin at 20, another one. So it's very prevalent in my life, and of course, like a lot of things, it's like a kind of a death sentence hanging over your head. And it had been for many years, and it brought me down so seriously. I've been involved in a small business in the family, and I managed and owned restaurants, and was also, which I actually loved to do. I loved working with people, but it became very challenging. As I probably was about 30 years old, I got a defibrillator installed, which is most of you are probably familiar with that, but it's a machine with wires going into my heart that if it stopped, it would go off, and fortunately it's never gone off in all the years I've had it, and it's been dead actually for probably 3-4 years now, and that's the way it's going to stay, because I don't ever intend to have another defibrillator put in. But that's my educated and practical decision that I've made, because if I would have known then what I know now, there's not a chance I would have ever had a defibrillator put in. But to each their own. I'm not telling a person they shouldn't do that, or they shouldn't do their orthodox medicines and stuff, but I'm here about natural medicine because I did the orthodox medicine, and I've watched the orthodox medicine fail many, many, many people, not to a point where they just got sick, but to a point where they're not here anymore. So I decided things had to be done about 20 years ago, but 2003, things were getting pretty rough. I had lost my business due to poor health, and having to do with the congenital heart disease and things that go along with that. And I fought the best fight I could fight up until then with what I knew. I ended up buying a book. I watched it on TV for, probably a year or two. I'm not even sure if actually I got it right here. This actually is a book that started it all. The guy that wrote this book ended up in jail and all kinds of reasons, but the beauty of this is, I read this 20 years ago. This is called Natural Cures by Kevin Trudeau. But the beauty of this is all the things that he suggested in there. Now I've got easily 35,000 hours of practical practice, in as a holistic health practitioner, just as somebody who's worked with several thousand people. As you might see, I've been able to reach tens of thousands of people, which I'm very grateful for on my previous YouTube channel. So all the 95% of the things that I've seen that I read on that, which I was unfamiliar with pretty much all of it, other than having a good natural healthy diet. I mean, you can't, intuitively you know that you can't have soda, and you can't have processed food, and you can't have sugar, and you can't have alcohol all day long, and you can't have prescription drugs all day long and think you're going to be okay. That's just, animals know better. I would assume that most people know that as well. But we just push it because we think we can get away with it. Well, I did that as well growing up in Dairy Queen. My parents owned a Dairy Queen, then I ran Dairy Queens. I had my own restaurant, so I know what it's like to be around junk food. But I had to make those changes because it was a do or die situation. So in 2003, after reading that book, I decided to completely change my life, and where it started off really was juicing, and I'll get into that, of course. You see on some of my videos, and hopefully I'll get a lot of juicing here, because this is all about practicality and things that you can do, whether you got a budget of $1 million, you got a budget of $10 or $5 or nothing. I mean, you know, if just taking the things that God and nature have given us in outside our doors, that's really what's key, and having a lot of spirituality and mental acuity with that, and knowing how to work that. I'm not talking about religion. I won't get into that. That's everybody else's business. But talking about energy and breath work and emotional freedom technique and things like that have just carried me through, and I've seen so many people that have really done well with it. So anyway, in 2003, I started studying like crazy, and I probably studied 6 to 8 hours a day for many years. And in 2011, I finally got my certification, became a holistic health practitioner, and I put it into good use. I didn't do the business that I really wanted to, because I was busy with my new family, and of course, my beautiful wife, Marcel, and you know, things had changed, and we had a little child here in 2013. So I've been able to do a lot of things right out of home here and help people locally and do things online, and I have done that for nearly 20 years now, and it's really been a blessing. So my hope is to ultimately, plan, I should say, is not only do work around here helping people with clientele, but also to do it traveling in the well, it's going to be kind of the southwestern part of Florida, as well as going into Philippines for 2-3 weeks out of the year, visiting and having a place that we can help those most in need. So anyway, when I started in 2003, when I started my major changes, mainly I juiced like crazy. I got rid of the junk. No more soda. I haven't had a pop or a soda pop in almost 20 years now. French fries I haven't had. Deep fried food I just don't eat, generally speaking, unless it's really good quality oil, no soy, no canola, none of that junk, and definitely not hydrogenated. But I'll get into that at a later date. But again, I'm going to try to work with things that work for people that just generally speaking don't have the means, because Marcel and I have sent many packages to the Philippines, to churches, to schools, to different places like that. And the most blessed part that we've been able to do is to send supplements, in particular supplements that are incredibly powerful. And I'll go back to my original introduction here, was the use of Lugol's iodine, which is incredibly powerful. Everything from, they've known that for 200 years, but they've known how it increases IQ, they've known how it kills bacteria, virus, fungus, cancer, all kinds of things. That's all stuff you can find on PubMed. And one thing I will tell you, that though this is about practicality, but it's also very practical in the fact that you can, almost everything I talk about, I encourage you to look up under PubMed, which is probably the single conglomeration of journals that the majority of doctors and scientists and medical scientists and stuff like that use throughout the world. So pubmed.org. Terrific site, and that's most of the stuff that I'll put into layman's terms comes from there, and other sources that we trust. Many of the journals that many people used to trust are all bought out, unfortunately, by Big Pharma and whatnot. So even the English Journal of Medicine and the British Journal of Medicine and things like that, you just got to be careful, because they're owned. That's where they get the funding, just like many of our government entities. So anyway, my plan is to, I want to go back to what I did there. I started to juice. I was on about 6-7 drugs for depression, for heart disease, for all kinds of things in 2003. I started in about November 2003. My plan was by my birthday in May that I would be done with no more prescriptions on my decision. And by the time February rolled around, only about 3 months later, with all the juicing I had done, I had gotten off all 6 or 7 drugs that I was on at that time, and I've never turned back. I've never been on another drug of that sort in my life. So drugs that I was supposed to be on for the rest of my life, I was not on, and the doctors that that I've seen throughout the years agreed that they were drugs that I just didn't need and just would do me no good anymore, because I was taking care of the things that I was feeding the cells, and I was feeding the tissues, and I was feeding my body the way it needed to be treated as a temple. So I think I'm going to end there for this, because I got a lot of ahs in there, so I got to get used to this. It's been a while since I've done it. I enjoy doing videos. Hopefully I can reach a lot of people, and I really hope that we can reach some people. I want to say I appreciate a few. I've been watching some Philippine videos like Philippine Dreams and Tim K and Chrissy K. You guys, I think you guys are great. Hopefully we can reach audiences like that in the Philippines, and maybe we'll be able to meet. But again, the point is that whether we're there or whether we do it from here, that people get some practical ideas of how they can really take care of themselves, even when they just don't seem to have those things available. It's amazing what a $10 bottle of iodine will do. You read the medical literature, and it's incredibly life-saving. Again, from everything from thyroid cancer to breast cancer to testicular cancer to fungus to tags to eyesight to IQ. That alone is just, you could research for years like I have, and just see the miracle power of it. So I'm going to say, with that, I'm going to say salamat. Hopefully I said that right, and we'll see you soon. Bless you. Bye-bye.